First is Atman Patra, water for Atman and Sparsh. Second, the Diya, then matchstick, ghee, camphor for introducing the fire in Havan Kund, Samagri, and Samidha. So let's sit down straight, keep the body totally relaxed from head to toe, and deep inhale and exhale. While exhaling, chant the name of Sarvavyapak, the omnipresent, Sarvajya, the omniscient, Nyayakari, the all just, and Dayalu, the all merciful, Ishwar God. Om. ओम जाप 3 बार करेंगे, फिर इसके बाद गायत्री मंत्र भजन के रूप में करेंगे और ये भजन के अंतर्गत भी आँखें को बंद रखेंगे. We'll keep our eyes closed because that facilitates us to keep our mind and our hearts from external thoughts and external emotions. So we just be immersed in the chanting of the Gayatri Mantra, listening to our pronunciation, catching the sound waves and the vibrations out of the pronunciation, and just bring the inner peace within ourselves, generating the inner peace and the feeling of harmony and happiness. तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्. तूने हमें उत्पन्न किया, पालन कर रहा है, तो तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम. दुखियों के कष्ट हरता है तो तेरा महान तेज है, छाया हुआ सभी स्थान. सृष्टि की वास्तु वास्तु में तू हो रहा है विद्यमान. तेरा ही धरते ध्यान हम, मांगते तेरी दया. ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला. दाता हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला. ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. धियो Prachodayat. Join the palms together, gently, slowly rub them. Cover the eyes and below the palms, open the eyes, transferring the energy to our eyes and to our facial muscles. So, namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Let's start with Ishvara Stuti Prarthana Upasana. Remember, Stuti is praising the noble virtuous qualities of Ishvara God, and at the same time, we are doing prarthana, prayers to Ishvara God, and prayers is simply demanding Ishvara God, but remember, without efforts, we get nothing. And then upasana, meditation, communion with God, understanding the qualities of God, putting up our efforts in realizing our goals, and at the same time, Ishvara will top up whatever be the deficiencies in us, and we'll be able to realize ourselves beyond this body as the soul, and Ishvara as the creator, generator, operator, sustainer, and ultimately dissolver of the universe, always within us, guiding us to be humane in thoughts, in speech, and in actions. अथेश्वर स्तुति प्रार्थना उपासना मंत्र ॐ विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्नासुव ॐ हिरण्यगर्भः समवर्तताग्रे भूतस्य जातः पतिरेकासीत् सदाधारपृथिवीं द्यामुतेमं तस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ य आत्मदा बलदा यस्य विश्वा उपासते प्रशिशं यस्य देवा यस्य छायामृतं यस्य मृत्युः तस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ यः प्राणतो निमिषतो महित्वैक इद्राजाजगतो बभूव य ईशे अस्य द्विपादश्चतुष्पदः तस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ यः यः प्राणतो निमिषतो महित्वैक इद्राजाजगतो बभूव य ईशे अस्य द्विपादश्चतुष्पदः तस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम. The first mantra, Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasava, praying to the creator of this universe, that he inspires us to drive away all ills, evils, and sufferings from our lives. And in that place, fill in the good things, the good thoughts, the good words, and the good deeds, which are beneficial and will be benevolent to our surroundings. Second mantra, Hiranya Garbha, recognizing Ishvara God as the creator, the golden womb, Hiranya Garbha, and Patireka, the one and only ruler of the universe, worthy of our worship. Then Ya Atmada Balada, recognizing Ishvara God as the driver of physical, mental, and spiritual progress. The fourth mantra says, Ya Ishe Dvipade Chatushpade. Dvipade, the bipeds, and Chatushpade, the quadrupeds, Hindi worldly meaning. And in spiritual sense, the bipeds are those who only work and enjoy life, artha kam. And the quadrupeds are those who tread on the path of dharma, righteous living, move on to artha, righteous earnings, then to karma, righteous enjoyment of the righteous earnings, and ultimately progress to moksha mukti. ॐ येन द्यौरुग्रपृथिवी च दृधा येन स्वस्तभीतं येन नाकः यो अन्तरिक्षैरजसो विमानः तस्मै देवाय विधेम ॐ प्रजापतेन त्वदेतान्यो विश्वा जाता निपरिता बभूव यत्कामास्तेजोमस्तन्नो अस्तु वायं स्याम पतयोरयीनाम् ॐ स नो बन्धुर्जनिता सविधाता धामानि वेदभुवनानि विश्वा यत्र देवा अमृतमानशानास्त्रितीये धामन्नद्यैरयन्त ॐ अग्नेन यसुपथारायेऽस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जोहोरानमेनो भूयिष्ठान्तेन मौक्तिं विधेम. So the fifth mantra, Yo Antarikshe Rajaso Vimana, describes in an analogy, Upamalankara in the Sanskrit reference, how will be in the state of mukti moksha, will be moving on the energy, on the power of Ishvara God around the world, just as birds move freely in the space. Then comes the mantra with Prajapati, again recognizing Ishvara God as the only ruler and guide of this universe, leading us to be masters of Vayam Syama Patayorainam, masters of both spiritual and worldly treasures. Sano Bandhur Janita, Bandhu, recognizing Ishvara God as the closest sibling, always by our sides, giving us the hint, putting the brake when we try to engage in wrong directions, and giving us this sense of happiness, of motivation, of good feeling when we engage in righteous actions. Agnenaya Supatharayasman, Ishvara as Agni, the source of physical energy, but also the light of knowledge. Then Vishwe Deva Vavayunani Vedwan, it's prayers that we always be surrounded by elderly and knowledgeable persons who, by sharing their knowledge and their life experiences, give us the extra mileage, the additional footing to move on in life. Iti Stuti Prathnupasna Prakaranam. Now, Archman, please take water in the right palm, sufficient water so that it reaches the throat, down the throat. And remember, Kriya mantra ke baad, all the actions at the end of the mantra. Om Amritopastharanamasi Swaha. Second time. Om Amritapidhanamasi Swaha. Third time. Om Satyam Yashah Shirmai Shri Shayatam Swaha. So, first and second mantra says Amrito Pastaranamasi, and second one says Apidhanamasi, praying to Ishwar God that His grace be upon us and His bliss surround us. Like when we go to sleep, we have a bed sheet below and one above. So we'll still be lying on the bliss of Ishwar and covered by the bliss of Ishwar. Satyam Yasha Shirmai, treading on the path of Satya, truth, will earn both name and fame and be righteous persons in life, enjoying happiness, bliss of Ishwar. Angsparsh, take water in the left palm, using the middle and right finger of the right hand, the middle and ring finger of the right hand will be touching various parts of the body, praying to Ishwar God that He drives our soul, and the soul in turn drives Man Buddhi Chit, our mind, and the mind driving all the organs towards righteous actions. जिन इंद्रियों को हम स्पर्श करने जा रहे हैं वो हमारे सुपथ सन्मार्ग पर चलने के लिए हमारे सहायक बने. And always remember Kriya at the end of the mantra, actions at the end of the mantra. Om Vangamasyasto, Om Nasorme Pranosto, Om Akshnor Chakshurasto, Om Karanior Shrotramasto, Om Bahur Balamasto, Om Urvorma Ojusto, Om Arishtani Mangani Tanustanva Me Sahasanto. Lighting of the lamp Deepak Prajalan. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha. After that, lighting of the fire in the Havan Kun, lighting the camphor to introduce the fire into the Havan Kun at the end of the mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha. Dyorīva bhumna prithivīva varimna tasyaste prithivī deva yajani prishthe agnimanna dhyaya. Center of the Havan Kund. And then Samidha will always be like this, two like this, and the two will be just doing the edge hashtag sign, allowing sufficient aeration of the fire for optimum results in the transmission of the essential oils of the ghee and the samagri as microparticles into the atmosphere, sanitizing the atmosphere, and also getting the essential oils into our lungs in microparticles, boosting our immunity, warding off bacteria and viruses. Agni Samindhan mantra, 2 spoons of ghee over the samidhas for getting the fire blazing. Om Udbhudya Svagni Pratijagrihi Tvamishta Purte Sansrijetamayancha Asmin Sadhaste Adyuttarasmin Vishve Devaya Jamanascha Sidata. Samidadan, the free pieces of Samidha wood sticks dipped in ghee. The first Samidha with this mantra. ॐ अयन्त इद्मात्मा जातवेदस्तेनेद्य स्ववर्धस्वचेद्वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसे नाम्नाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये जातवेदसे इदं न मम. Second Samhita, we have two mantras here. The second Samhita will be placed on the second Swaha offered to the Pavan Kund, the holy fire. Om Samidhagnim Duvasya Griterbordayata Asmin Havya Jotana Swaha Idamagne Idan Namama Om Susamidhaya Shocishe Gritam Tivram Jotana Agnaye Jatavedase Swaha Idam Agnaye Jatavedase Idan Namama. Now the third Samhita. Om Tantva Samidbhirangiro Gritena Vardhayamasi Prihachochaya Vishtaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Idan Namama. Panchakrit Ahuti, 5 offerings of ghee with the sruva. And in this mantra, coincidentally, we are seeking the grace of Ishwar God for 5 things in life. It's prajaya, kith and kin, be obedient, be following the guidance and the instructions of the elderly at home and outside. Pashubhira, the pets, bring us peace and happiness. Brahmavarchas, the knowledge given to us in the Vedas and the knowledge given to us in the universe, the physical sciences, be for our progress. And we always have healthy, nutritious food. And Samedaya, make effective and efficient use of the 4 things in life to move to peace, progress, and prosperity. Om Ayanta Idmatma Jata Vedaste Nedya Svardha Svachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Namnadyena Samedhaya Sva Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Om Ayanta Idmatma Jata Vedaste Nedya Svardha Svachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Namnadyena Samedhaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Om Ayanta Idmatma Jata Vedaste Nedya Svardha Svachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Namnadyena Samedhaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Om Ayanta Idmatma Jata Vedaste Nedya Svardha Svachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Namnadyena Samedhaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Om Ayanta Idmatma Jata Vedaste Nedya Svardha Svachedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Namnadyena Samedhaya Svaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. So in Hindi this mantra says Agni Ishvara, यह मेरा आत्मा तेरे लिए समिधा रूप है. So we surrender ourselves to Ishwar God just as we are offering this Samhita to the holy fire, and just see, when the Samhita goes into the fire, it becomes Agni Swarup, it takes the form of the fire. And here at the same time, when we're offering the Samhita, the Ahutis to the fire, we pray to Ishwar God that our soul be noble in terms of the divine qualities that Ishwar God has. Like He's all merciful, we'll also be merciful in life. He's all just, we'll also be just in life. He's all pure, immaculate, we'll keep ourselves pure in mind, body, and spirit like this. And then we'll also shine by the virtuous qualities like the blazing fire to which we are offering the ahutis. Jal Sechanam, sprinkling of water around the Havan Kund, the first one in the east. Om Adite Numanyasva, on the west. Om Anumate Numanyasva, north. Om Saraswatyanmanyasva. Now it will be all around the fire, starting from the Diya Deepak, going clockwise and ending where we started, but it's always at the end of the mantra, please. Om Deva Savita Prasvayadyam Prasvayadyapatim Bhagaya Divyo Gandharvaha Ketapoke Tanna Punatu Vachaspatir Vachanna Swadatu. Aghara Vajyahuti mantra. It's only ghee for the next 4 mantras. Om Agnaye Swaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namama. Om Somaya Swaha Idam Somaya Idam Namama. Om Prajapataye Swaha Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama. Om Indraya Swaha Idam Indraya Idam Namama. Radha Kalin Ahuti. The Ahuti is for the morning. It's morning Surya Jyoti because morning is the sunrise, and let's benefit from the natural sunlight, which is also a very health promoting factor, exposing our body to the sunrise, the morning sunlight. Om Suryo Jyotir Jyoti Surya Swaha. Om Suryo Varcho Jyotir Varcha Swaha. Om Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Swaha. Om Sajur Devena Savitra Sajurusha Sendravatya Jushana Suryavetu Swaha. In these 4 mantras, Surya and Jyoti comes often. Surya, the sunlight, and Surya is sun and Jyoti light. So both of them together, enlightening the world. And this is from where we start recognizing the things around us. Had there been no sunlight, there would have been no life and no way to. And had in taking for 1 second, had there been life in the absence of sunlight, none would have been able to identify things around us. So thanks to God for that. Bhagwan created the sun, and man has mastered all the forms of energy to make good use, and hopefully will stay in making good use of those things. Now the Sayankalin mantra, it's Agnira Jyoti. There when it reaches evening, then we make use of artificial light. Again, if we go back to the source, it's still Ishwar God as the creator of the universe, of all the things in this planet which we transform to get artificial light. ॐ अग्निर्ज्योतिर्ज्योतिरग्निः स्वाहा। ॐ अग्निर्वर्चो ज्योतिर्वर्चः स्वाहा। ॐ स्वाहा। ॐ सजुर्देवेन सवित्रा सजुरात्रिन्द्रवत्या जुषानो अग्निर्वेतु स्वाहा। So Suryo, Agni and Jyoti all also refers to the light of knowledge because they enable us to perceive the universe around us, to know the physical sciences existing in the universe. And also it's the light of the knowledge the Vedas given to us by Ishvara God. Now the Dainik Ahuti for morning and evening. Remember, it's Om to be pronounced after a long breath at the beginning of each mantra. And Swaha, the time of giving the Ahuti, the guidance stands in the three mantras coming. Agnaye Pranaya, Bhuragnaye Bhuravaive Apanaya, Swaradityaya Vyanaya. So Pran, Apan, and Vyan. These are the three of the five most important vital life forces. We have 10 in our body. The vital breath, Pran, and Apan, breathe in and breathe out. And Vyan is the life force sending oxygen and nutrition to all parts of the body. So just remember synchronizing our breath with the mantras, taking one deep breath between the mantras and saying Om. If you know the mantra, say the whole mantra. Otherwise, it's Swaha before giving the ahutis. Om Bhuragnaye Pranaya Swaha. Idam Agnaye Pranaya Idam Namama. Om Bhuvarvaive Panaya Swaha. Idam Vaive Panaya Idam Namama. Om Swaradityaya Vyanaya Swaha. Idam Adityaya Vyanaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurvasvaragnivaivaditebhya pranapanavyanabhya swaha. Idam agnivaivaditebhya pranapanavyanabhya idam namama. Om Apo Jyotirasomritam Namma Bhurvasvarom swaha. Om Yam Medham Devagana Pitarashchopasate तयामा मध्यमेधयाग्नि मेधाविनं कुरु स्वाहा. ॐ विश्वानि देवः सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्नासुव स्वाहा. ॐ अग्नेन यः सुपथाराय यस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुरानमेनो भूयिष्ठान्तेन मुक्तिं विधेम स्वाहा. ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा. ॐ विश्वानि देवः सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्नासुव स्वाहा. So now we'll be offering special ahutis with 3-4 mantras of the Yajurved. The first 3 mantras we'll be praying for the enlightened mind. We'll go into explanations later. And then one for good health. And then we'll move to proceed with Purnauti. Om Paritya Bhutani Paritya Lokan Paritya Sarva Pradisho Dishascha उपस्थाय प्रथमजामृतस्य मनात्मानमभिसन्विवेश स्वाहा. ॐ परिद्यावासद्ययित्वा परिलोकान् परिदिश परिस्सह दैतस्य तन्तुं विततं विचित्र्य तदपश्यत् तदभवत् स्वाहा. ॐ सदसस्पतिमद्भूतं प्रियमिन्द्रस्य काम्यं सनिं मेधां मया शिशं स्वाहा. ॐ यं मेधां देवगणा पितरश्चोपासते तयामा मध्यमेधयग्निमेधाविनं कुरु स्वाहा ॐ मेधां मे वरुणो ददातु मेधामग्नि प्रजापति मेधामिन्द्रश्च वायुश्च मेधां धाता ददातु मे स्वाहा ॐ तच्चक्षुर्देवहितं पुरस्तात् शुक्रमुच्चरत् पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं शृणुयाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमदीनास्याम शरदः शतं भूयश्च शरदः शतात् स्वाहा ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा. So the special mantras were one. We've just completed the celebrations of the Shravan Mass, focus on the study of the Vedas, moving into Krishna Janmashtami, and also we saw the laying of the foundation stones of the Ram Mandir. So if we look at the Vedas, it's knowledge. Ramayana, again, the life of Sri Ram is again enlightening. And the life of Sri Krishna, again, the Bhagavad Gita is all knowledge. So if we are able to assimilate all these knowledge, at least the essentials of that, then we'll be able to develop our buddhi into medha buddhi, convert our normal use of the brain into intellect, enlightened mind. And Tatchakshur Devahitam is prayer for long life with healthy organs, hand, feet, eye, ears, etc. all be in good health so that we may live long, happy life, independent life, because when all our organs are fit, then we won't depend on others, or our dependence on others for personal things would be minimal. Now we'll move to Swishtakrit Ahuti. If you have prasad, one ahuti of prasad and ghee, otherwise it's only with ghee. ॐ यदस्य कर्मणोऽत्यरीरीचं यद्वानोन्मिहाकरम् अग्निष्ट श्रेष्ठकृद्विद्यात् सर्वं स्वेष्टं सुहृतं करोतु मे अग्नये श्रेष्ठकृते सुहृतहुते सर्वप्रायश्चिताहुतीनां कामानां समर्देत्रे सर्वान् कामान् समर्दय स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये श्रेष्ठकृते idam namama. One ahuti of ghee. Om swaha idam prajapataye idam namama. Gayatri mantra 3 times. I'll be leading, so please chant the Gayatri mantra in one voice, one tone, one pace with me, and feel your own pronunciation. Feel the sound waves going out of pronunciation and the vibrations coming back to you, generating the tranquility, the inner peace. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुक्मीव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयममृतात् स्वाहा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुक्मीव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुक्मीव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा। पूर्णाहुति। ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। Put everything down. Join your palms. Close the eyes gently. Free mantras from the Samved Mahavamdevyagan. Praying for the grace of Ishvara God, that He showers upon us Sukh, Shanti and Samriddhi, Sukh, happiness, Shanti, peace and Samriddhi, progress. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah. Kayanashchitra bhuvaduti सदा वृद्ध सखा कयाशचेष्टया व्रता ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। तस्त्वा सत्यो मदानां मङ्गीष्ठो मत्सदन्धसा द्विधा चेदारुजेवसु ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। अभीशो नः सखीनामवीता जरित्रणां शतं भवास्युतये ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः। धनंजय जी। यज्ञ प्रार्थना।
जनीय प्रभु हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए, छोड़ दे में छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए। वेद की बोले ऋचाएं सत्य को धारण करें, हर्ष में हो मग्न सारे शोक सागर से तरें। अश्वमेधाधिक रचाएं यज्ञ पर उपकार को, धर्म मर्यादा चलाकर लाभ दे संसार को। नित्य श्रद्धा भक्ति से यज्ञादि हम करते रहें, रोग पीड़ित विश्व के संताप सब हरते रहें। भावना मिट जाए मन से पाप अत्याचार की, कामनाएं पूर्ण होवे यज्ञ से नर नार की। लाभकारी हो हवन हर जीवधारी के लिए, वायु जल सर्वत्र हो शुभ गंध को धारण किए। स्वार्थ भाव मिटे हमारा पथ विस्तार हो, इदं न मम का सार्थक प्रत्येक में व्यवहार हो। प्रेम रस में मग्न होकर वंदना हम कर रहे, नाथ करुणा रूप करुणा आपकी सब पर रहे। पूजनीय प्रभो हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए, छोड़ देवी छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए, प्रभु आत्मिक बल दीजिए। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। सबका भला करो भगवान, सब पर दया करो दयावान, सब पर कृपा करो भगवान, सबका सब विधि हो कल्याण। हे ईश सब सुखी हो, कोई न हो दुखारी, सब हो निरोग भगवन, धन धान्य के भंडारी। सब भद्र भाव देखें, सन्मार्ग के पथिक हो, दुखिया न कोई होवे, सृष्टि में प्राणधारी। हे नाथ सब सुखी हो, कोई न हो दुखारी, सब हो निरोग भगवन, धन धान्य के भंडारी। त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविडं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव।
Ashirvad. So join your palms together, close the eyes gently, praying to Ishwar God that He graces us, all those who join us in this Satsang of today. I call them the Yaj Parivar, and may also the blessings of Ishwar God be with this whole world. So you say with me, Om Satya Santo Yajamanasya Kama. Om Purna Santo Yajamanasya Kama. Om Safala Santo Yajamanasya Kama. So it says Satya Santo Yajamanasya Kama. May the wishes of the Yajman be truthful. Purna Santu, the truthful wishes of the Yajman be complete, and Safala Santu, the truthful wishes of the Yajman be complete with 100% success. Om Swasti na Indro Vridharshava Swasti na Pusha Vishveda Swasti Nistakshariyo Arishthanemi Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu. Om Bhadram Karnebi Shnuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabiriyajatra Sthirairangaistoshtavam Sastanurvirvyashemahi Devahitam Yadayo. O Bhagavan इस परिवार को सुख का सदा वरदान दो, ज्ञान की गंगा बहाकर शुद्ध वैदिक ज्ञान दो, निरोग होकर सब जिए, शतवर्ष आयुष्मान हो। धन धान्य से पूरित सदा, यश युक्त कीर्तिमान हो। पुत्र पौत्रादिक सभी बलवान हो, श्रीमान हो। विद्वान हो, मतिमान हो, धर्मात्मा धीमान हो। ओम स्वस्ति स्वस्ति स्वस्ति। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So welcome again everybody. Now it's time for bhajan. So anybody who has bhajan, please. Kamlesh ji, अपने आप को अनम्यूट करें पहले।
किसी और को भी गाना हो तो पहले गा सकते हैं।
Okay. Yes, please.
हम सब मिलके
नहीं, एक मिनट, वो एक मिसेज यश है वहाँ पे, शी इज रेज्ड हर हैंड्स, उनको पहले करने दो फिर आप करें।
सॉरी।
नो प्रॉब्लम।
करो।
नहीं, शी इज डूइंग फर्स्ट एंड देन यू विल डू सेकंड। अनम्यूट प्लीज, अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
प्रेम जी।
या दैट्स गुड।
तेरे पूजन को भगवान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। तेरे पूजन को भगवान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। किसने जानी तेरी माया, किसने भेद तिहारो पाया। तेरी लीला अपरंपार बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। तेरे पूजन को भगवान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। तू ही जल में तू ही थल में, तू हर डाल के हर पातन में। तू ही जल में तू ही थल में, तू हर डाल के हर पातन में। तेरा रूप अनूपमान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। तेरे पूजन को भगवान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। तूने राजा रंक बनाए, तूने भिक्षुक राज बिठाए। तूने राजा रंक बनाए, तूने भिक्षुक राज बिठाए। हारे ऋषि मुनि गुणमान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। तेरे पूजन को भगवान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। झूठे जग की झूठी माया, मानुष उसमें क्यों भरमाया। झूठे जग की झूठी माया, मानुष उसमें क्यों भरमाया। तेरी लीला अपरंपार बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। तेरे पूजन को भगवान बना मन मंदिर आलीशान। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू प्रेम जी। सो कमलेश जी।
हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार। हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार, भर दे झोली सबकी तेरे पूरन भंडार। होवे जब संध्या काल निर्मल होके तत्काल, होवे जब संध्या काल निर्मल होके तत्काल, अपना मस्तक झुका के करके तेरा ख्याल, तेरे दर पर आके बैठे सारा परिवार, हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार। तू है हम सबका वाले करता, सब की रखवाली, हम है रंग रंग के आते तुम हो, हम सब के माली। पथ का बगीचा है ये तेरा सुंदर संसार, पथ का बगीचा है ये तेरा सुंदर संसार, हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार, भर दे झोली सबकी सब पूर्ण भंडार। Thank you.
Thank you, Kamlesh ji. Dhananjay ji, for the announcement, please.
So everyone, welcome to the of Atlanta's weekly satsang. We are doing these satsangs virtually last few months because of obvious reasons. Uh, we have also started kids program on every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, where kids learn the Vedic mantras and their meanings. They share a story and uh, learn some morals from that. Acharya help them to pronounce correctly those mantras. Uh, we have one weekly program about the practical application of yoga in our daily life on every Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Uh, Acharya is stuck there in Mauritius. Hopefully, he will join us very soon in Atlanta. This is very auspicious month of Shravan we just passed. We have several series of festivals starting now on. We just passed Raksha Bandhan, then Krishna Janmashtami is coming up, then Ganesh Utsav after that, and Navratra, Durga Puja, Diwali, and so on. A lot of festivals coming up. Acharji will have all, I'm sure he will be guiding us and telling us the importance of all those festivals in the coming future. Today, Acharji will be delivering a sermon on Krishna Janmashtami. If you have seen his post, he has already uh, informed us, guided us a lot uh, on the electronic media, like on Hindu Center of Atlanta and Acharyaji's Facebook page also. So continuing with that, Acharyaji will help us understand this meaning of the Krishnas and his importance in Hindu culture. Over to Acharyaji.
So, namaste, everybody. Just sit down straight, keep the body relaxed, close the eyes, and one Om jap to bring our focus to the lecture today. Om. Welcome, everybody. So, among the mantras we chanted today, there are the first two which I'd like to just go briefly about. One was Paritya Bhutani, Paritya Lokan, Paritya Sarva Pradesho Dishascha, उपस्थाय प्रथमजामृतस्यात्मनात्मनामभि संविवेश. It says, हे मनुष्य, तुम लोग धर्म के आचरण, वेद और योग के अभ्यास तथा सत्संग आदि कर्मों से शरीर की पुष्टि और आत्मा तथा अंतःकरण की शुद्धि को संपादन कर सर्वत्र अभिव्याप्त परमात्मा को प्राप्त होके सुखी हो गए. सेकंड मंत्र, परिद्यावा पृथिवी सद्य इतवा परिलोकान परिदेश परिस्वः ऋतस्य तंतुम विततम विचित्र्य तदपश्यत तदभवत तदासीत. इट सेज, जो मनुष्य परमेश्वर ही का भजन करते हैं, उसकी रची सृष्टि को सुख के लिए उपयोग में लाते हैं, वे इस लोक परलोक और विद्या से हुए सुख को शीघ्र प्राप्त होके निरंतर आनंदित होते हैं. If you look at the going Shravan Mass, focus on the study of Vedas, and the study of the Vedas is to become masters of both material and spiritual treasures, unfolding life in a holistic approach by maintaining a real balance between spiritual matters and worldly matters. Last week I mentioned briefly also about Sri Ram, because we had the laying of the foundation of the Ram temple as a documentation center, as a monument referring people to the ideals of the life of Sri Ram. Ideal son, ideal protector of dharma, ideal brother, ideal husband, ideal friend, ideal ruler. And it goes along with the word which we use in addressing Sri Ramchandra ji, Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram. Within the confines of dharma, the framework of dharma, that was the Maryada ki Sima. The boundaries or the limitations in his life was dharma. And that led him to be remembered till today. Sri Ram lived about 1.2 million years ago, according to the calculation that we make in Sankalpat. And then he's still remembered because of the way he stood for dharma and he stood against adharma. And if you look at the life of Sri Krishna, again, it's the same thing. It's the same thing in the sense that this Bhagavad Gita, the sermon in the midst of the battlefield, there are many parallels in other lines of thinking. Like in the Bible, you have the Sermon on the Mountain, which is basically the essence comes from the Bhagavad Gita, and the Bhagavad Gita goes on the essence of the Ishopanishad. The Ishopanishad goes on the last chapter of the Yajurveda. And then Krishna prompting Arjuna to go into the war on the same footing as Dharma Rakshita Rakshati Rakshita. Those who protect Dharma stands protected by Dharma. So that was knowledge given to Arjuna in the midst of the battlefield, and that knowledge is still worthy today. Even the Dwapara Yuga ended, it's 5,121 years ago, but the knowledge is still valid, as we say, evergreen. And in the two mantras which I read, it says, Dharma ke acharan. So compliance to the tenets of dharma. Ahimsa, Satya, Steya, Brahmacharya, Parigraha, Sauch, Santosh, Tapas, Dhyay, Shutprandhan, or from Manu, Dhriti, Kshama, Damosteyam, patience, fortitude, level-headedness, be truthful, etc., etc. And it says, Yog ke abhyas. So we'll have to spend time in prarthana, stuti, prarthana, and upasana. But then yoga also, because yoga affirms our position, our commitment to dharma. Because the two first steps of yoga are yama and niyama. And if we walk along these two steps, we'll always be moving on the path of dharma, which is why we remember Sri Ram and Sri Krishna till today. So, walking the path of yoga, yoga ke abhyas, practicing yoga daily in day-to-day life, brings us to Satsang, the company of elderly and knowledgeable persons. Truthful people who will share their knowledge, their experiences, motivate us to be truthful in life. Sat Purushon ka satsang, Sat Purushon ka sang, satsang hota hai. It is the company of righteous people which makes satsang. What we are doing now is Agnihotra, Deviyads, and then after that, sharing the ideas, the opinions. That is an integrated form of satsang. Then it says, Sharir ki pushti, physical wellness. That is first step, because without physical wellness, it's hard to maintain mental, moral wellness and wellness on all the other steps of life. Then Atma tatha antakaran ki shuddhi. So it says purity of mind, of body, mind, and spirit. And that is also which we see in the life of Sri Ram and Sri Krishna. The second mantra also goes on the same line. It says, by following the laws of God, be it from the Vedas or be the laws of God in the universe. Compliance to all these laws will lead us to be happy, because we'll be using all the resources available in this planet Earth, in this universe. It says, सृष्टि उसकी रची हुई सृष्टि को सुख के लिए उपयोग में लाएं. You see, the mantras of the Vedas go in the same line. We live our life, a worldly life, but spirituality goes hand in hand. And if we look at the life of Sri Krishna, he is famous for mainly two shlokas of the Gitas. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata, which is generally interpreted as God will take birth again, which goes again in the reverse gear, because God himself says, Chukramakaya masnaviram shuddham papa vidham. He is neither born nor get entangled in bodily form, in nervous system, blood systems, etc. But what the mantra says really, I explained it, I think, on the second post I had on Krishna Janmashtami. It says, look at God each and every time triggering us when we are contemplating any action. If the action is wrong, the break is there in terms of fear, doubt, and shame. And if the action is right, Anand, Ullas, Umang ki feeling aate hain. We feel elated, we feel motivated, we feel the drive to go ahead. That is Ishwar each and every time. We have to decide between dharma and adharma. He is within us, are the divine guide. Each and every single moment, as we say, it's as if giving birth to that feeling of whether the action is good or bad. That's a gut feel, as we say. So that is how Ishwar God manifests itself in our day-to-day life. So that is the main lesson. If we understand that concept, then we'll always be clear and in harmony with the divine guide within ourselves. The second thing which I would like to raise today about Krishna Janmashtami, there is the feeling that, which unfortunately is understood, there are free paths to reach the ultimate goal of life, mukti. Jnana, karma, bhakti. But if you go into the Bhagavad Gita, it goes in harmony with the Vedas. It says Jnana, karma, upasana and vidyam. And the sixth chapter of the Gita goes in the same line. It talks about knowledge, dhyan. It talks about right knowledge leading to right karma. And right knowledge plus right karma leads us to be dedicated to righteous causes, which is bhakti. And the combination of the free, efficient, and effective application of dhyan, karma, and bhakti is Vidyan science. You remember when I was talking about the Vedas during Shravan Mas, I said Rigved is known as Dhyan Kand, Yajurved Karma Kand, Samved Bhakti Upasana Kand, and Atharvaved Vidyan Kand. If you want to remember the four Vedas in 4 words, 4 sentences. Dhyan, the correct knowledge, be it worldly knowledge or spiritual knowledge, be it knowledge to live our life daily into this world or to grow both in the worldly sphere and the spiritual plane. Karma, righteous, be righteous at the first the level of thoughts, then speech and words, and then physical actions. Bhakti, upasana, it's again, Samved says, Agna yahi vitaye. He again, Krishna says, go on the spiritual path, feel the presence of the divinity within yourself. So if the divinity is to be felt within ourselves, let's understand the proper concept. Krishna was there to relay the message, the divine message of be human in whatever we do. And leave all the things, dhyan, karma, upasana, together, and that makes vidyan the science of living as a human being. That is where the Bhagavad Gita leads us to. Unfortunately, we've got adulterations. Krishna, we always refer to him as Yogeshwar Shri Krishna, but then we find the common appellation of Makhan Chor or involved in Ras Leela. Shri Krishna himself was a proven yogi since the very tender age. Otherwise, he couldn't have managed the spiritual fight and the physical fight with cancer. If he didn't have the knowledge, the proper self-control, he was an ordinary kid, he would have suffered the same fate of the 7 children before him. And that came because, as we say, Purva Janma Janmantaron ke sanskar, the positive imprints left from previous birth ongoing. That was a soul with a high spiritual level in our midst. And he demonstrated the abilities of a yogi since early tender age. So a yogi has restraint in terms of he knows what to eat, when to eat, and in what quantity to eat. And the concept of Makhanchor is not seen in the Mahabharata of Vyas and when Vyasji describes the life of Sri Krishna. Even the Leelas which we see, we don't see it. And today, unfortunately, TV has come with one serial, Radhe. And that also, nothing refers to the authentic life of Sri Krishna. But the serial has one good thing which we should say. Even though 99% is wrong, the end line which the character playing the role of Sri Krishna is uttering, it's motivating us to be real humane beings. As we say, सत्य को ग्रहण और असत्य को छोड़ने में सर्वदा उद्यत रहना चाहिए. Let's acknowledge the real things. Even as I said, if the serial is 99% wrong, let's take that 1% which is good in there, the motivational sentence given by the character playing the role of Krishna in that serial. Even for all the serials or all of the versions of the Gitas that have been made by various translators, let's take the essence of what is right in there and shun what is wrong. And if we want to go into real interpretations of the Gita, let's go. There's one Mahabharata which has been translated by Swami, I think Darshananandji, and then one Gita which has been translated by Satyavrat Siddhanta Lankar. These have given what is commonly believed in the life of Sri Krishna and what is the real thing. It gives the comparative analysis also. Both of them are Hindi. Unfortunately, we have a dearth of good literature in international English. We'll have to motivate and find people to write these texts in correct English. But then, as Maharishi Dayanand himself said in the Satyat Prakasha, the Anubhumika, that is the Bhumika which is between the 10th and the 11th chapter, that whatever is good, just take it, and whatever is bad, just shun it. Why he's gone into making these 4 chapters at the end of the Prakash too. So whatever is good has come from the knowledge of the Vedas, like the universal values which you find in all the various sects and faith and everything. They boil down to the essence of the Vedas. And all the adulterations, the additions, as we say, ye unke ghar ki khichdi. That's, they've cooked it from their side. Likewise, we find thousands of interpretation of the Gita. But let's take the lesson of the Gita, Krishna telling Arjuna on the battlefield, stand with Dharma. And it is standing with Dharma that will create, that lays the foundation for a better life, whether at present people will be more ethical, more considerate, and then go in the line of Manurbhava, be humane, and consider the world as one family, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. So motivating Arjun to stand for Dharma and fight Adharma, it's the Kurukshetra which we have to live in daily life. I'll come to the next to the 2 first words of the Gita. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Each and every step of our life is a Kurukshetra because we have to decide whether we are going to stand for Dharma or we are going to side with Adharma. And remember, the law of karma says for every action, we have a equal and corresponding action. In physics, it's the reverse, equal and opposite. Karma says it's equal and corresponding action. So the guidance of Sri Krishna is to be ethical in life. That's what Dharma stands for. Be righteous in whatever we think about, whatever we speak about, whatever we write about, and whatever we do with this physical body. And on the path of righteousness will be laying the foundations for a good ethical society, starting from the immediate, our family, our friends and relatives, the community around us, then it magnifies to the city, to the whole world. So the Kurukshetra is not only in the Gita, it's not only the first two words in the Gita, it's in our daily life. It's for us to decide. As we say, Jivatma Swatantra hai. We are all free to decide what would be the course of action. But remember, we are not free to choose the consequences of our actions. If actions are right, the consequences will automatically be right. If actions are wrong, then the consequences will be pain, suffering, and afflictions. This is what we pray basically for. Most of the mantras of the prayers goes into that same sense. When we pray to God, it's that we need to be aware, we have a duty to gear ourselves into righteous actions, righteous living. It's like when we are driving our car, we have to move forward, and we are on the reverse gear, we can never go forward. Or if we have to go backwards and we are on the neutral or the D gear, then departure, then we are always going front, or we are going to stay put rather than going reverse. So it's the same thing which applies in day-to-day life. The small things that we see in the universe, this is what happens at the larger level. As we say, yatha pinde tatha brahmande. And the lesson of the Gita is mainly, I had a summary which I'll read, I posted today, and I think that is a good conclusion to the lessons of the Gita. The teachings of the Gita in daily life, Charitra ki puja. Lead by example, and do not confuse people with lesser knowledge. This is unfortunately what happens. If I come with big words and Sanskrit words and everything, it's good to know them. But within the common fold, I don't need not complicate matters. I have to be as simple as possible for less knowledgeable persons to understand me. And this is how parents behave with the children. They go down to the level of children to teach children the proper behavior of life. And this is the Gita in action. Then the next one would be selfishness stops the flow of wisdom and leads to downfall. That is, we see that in Duryodhan, when he say, "Soi ki nokh ke barabar zameen nahi denge." Not even the needle point area of land to the Pandavas. That is selfishness. And his mind stopped working and he went for a downfall. Be fearless in life, continuous battle. Dharma versus adharma. Satya versus asatya. Then karma versus akarma or vikarma. Duty versus idleness or negligence or wrong karma. Then restraint versus gluttony, immoderation. Then Gita tells us we have to live with no obsession. Remember the obsession? Obsessions in life? Obsessions is Dhritarashtra. He was obsessed with his children, whether they were bad or they were good. He overlooked all these. Gandhari was the same. Then No expectations, no frustrations. This is the concept of Nishkam Karma. We just continue to do our duties without any expectations, then we'll not be frustrated. So it goes in the concept of be detached, like the lotus blooming from the कीचड़ कीचड़ से कोई संबंध नहीं. The lotus, when it blooms, kamal, even if it grows in the mud, it is not attached with the mud, and it blooms into a very beautiful flower. Then engage ourselves in our duty, be committed. Equanimity, be level-headed in times of joy as well as in times of grief. Both these times are lessons to be learned for our self-management for now and future. Then and only then we'll be able to tame the monkey mind. And then the other lesson would be whatever is born will die. So we take it like this. Abhinivesh, the concept of we fear death, and what we say when we see other people dying, ye mere liye nahi, ye to auron ke liye. Halanki, it's the truth, we are all going to die. So what is the lesson from there? The body is perishable. The creation is perishable. The soul continues its journey. Ishwar is imperishable. Matter in its primordial form is imperishable. So recognize Ishwar Jeev Prakriti as the eternities. And when we realize that, we're on the path of realization of God, on the path of mukti. Then surrender to Ishwar God. Look at when Duryodhan and Arjun went to seek help from Sri Krishna. Arjun was at the feet because he surrendered himself to Krishna. Though he went second, when Krishna opened his eyes, he saw Arjun first. And Duryodhan was the one, जैसे कहते हैं ना, अकरने वाला व्यक्ति. He thought big of himself. He sat at the head of Sri Krishna. At that point in time, he forgot that somebody waking up will see what is at the foot level first. Even forgot that. So that is Vinash Kale Viparit Buddhi in operation. So when we surrender ourselves to Ishwar God, to the laws of nature, we'll be starting on the path of getting the enlightenment which we pray for in heaven. Agne Naya Supatharaya Sman, or Suryo Jyoti and Agnira Jyoti. All these mantras are interconnected. The knowledge of the Gitas, the knowledge of the Ramayana also are interconnected. It's just for us to fit the parts of the puzzle and succeed in life, both in this world as well as in the spiritual world. Thank you for your attention. Just sit down straight, one Om Jap. Om. Hope I've been as simple as possible in providing you the insight. Then Dhananjay ji, please.
Antipat.
Aarti Bhajan.
Yes, Ati. Yes, Hari.
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट हरने करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे पल पावे दुख बिन से मन का स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता तुम मेरे शरण गहु मैं किसकी तुम बिन और न दूजा आस करूं मैं जिसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरे
परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता। मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम हो एक अगोचर सबके प्राणपति। किस विधि मिलूं दया मैं दो मुझको सुमति। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे। करुणा हस्त बढ़ाओ शरण पड़ा मैं तेरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
Thank you, everybody. Acknowledging the presence of Dr. Deenbandhu Chandra, the mentor and founder of Vedic Temple and the Hindu Center of Atlanta, Kamlesh ji and family, Yash Kapoor ji and family, Pandita ji and family. And there was Raghu who also joined us and he signed off now. And Dhananjay ji with his family as the host for the full Havan with the Havan.
आर्य समाज मातकम की तरफ से मैं आप सबको इनवाइट कर है
Yeah.
को पूर्णा होती हो आप
Yeah, there is Arya Samaj Barkham from where Kamlesh ji and Yash Kapoor ji are joining. So there's been the Gayatri year which is starting on Monday. So that from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. And that would be chanting the normal Devi Yads of Nihotra with chanting of the Gayatri mantra 51 times with the ahutis and pravachan, etc. I've just seen the program that the president has just sent me, and I'll be leading the Havan for 1 week there. So the Purna, we have the sessions Monday to Thursday, it's 7 to 9 p.m. Then, no, it's, yeah, Monday to Thursday, it's in the morning session, 11 to 1 during the day. Then Friday and Saturday, there are 2 sessions, one morning 11 to 1 and then one evening 7 to 9. Then Purnavati next Sunday 11 to 1. So those who can join us, please join us at these particular points in time for whatever slot, whatever time you can join in. And tomorrow Toronto Arya Samaj is having the Gayatri chanting 108 times. I'll be there also with them. So let's network among us and create a better environment for all of us and keep the contacts and share the knowledge and experiences. Shanti.
धन्यवाद
Yes.
ब्रह्मा बनने का
Thank you.
बहुत धन्यवाद
So let's move on for Shanti part. I always do it in the yogic meditative form so that we realize all the elements of the universe are there to be peaceful for us, subject to that we be peaceful to these elements of the universe. Om Dyo Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apah Shanti Oshadhaya Shanti वनस्पतयः शान्ति विश्वे देव शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वं शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति साम शान्तिरेधि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Namaste everybody. So there is the class of tomorrow evening 9 p.m. practical applications of yoga in day-to-day life. Then the current services Friday 9 p.m. is the class for kids on Sanatan Dharma, and Saturdays 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time is the Yaj and Puja weekly services. Thank you. Namaste.